So, I think I need to talk about Game of Thrones because I was such a massive Game of Thrones with the original series, and now that House of the Dragon's out, I'm giving it another go. I'm rolling back that hatred because, boy, you don't even know, man. I was like singing the praise of the Game of Thrones. I was their number one spokesperson. I was telling everybody, "You seen Game of Thrones yet? You seen Game of Thrones? Oh man, yeah. Well, actually, you should try Game of Thrones." I was their number one pusher, right? I pushed Game of Thrones so hard, and then the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons, just fucking done me dirty. Like, how can you be? How can? It's so hard because it's just like there's shit in the bed, and then there's that, like the only thing that's even close to being that bad is Star Wars, and Star Wars is we're not getting into that, but yeah, House and Dragons back. So I think I'll do a little review, a little opinion piece, just to see what's going on, see how say my thoughts each episode. It's a bit cringe, but why not? I need a new hobby, so let's jump into it. So I should be rolling Bannerlord gameplay in the background because what else can I do really? I'm not going to show the thing. So, intro out of the way. What was my thoughts on this? You know what? House of Dragon's alright. House of Dragon is not too bad. It is everything I want in a show. It's giving me them good season 1 vibes. No, it's giving me season 2 vibes. Because season 1 was the acting was good and everything season 1, but it's like, there was that oldness to it. There was the lower budget and stuff like this, because I know this has more budget than season 1, so I'm quite excited for that. But yeah, so characters were great, the setting was great, literally everything hit all the marks. It was doing bits, I'll say that, right? Definitely by halfway through my critical brain had turned off and I was just immersed, and I was like, like when you sit there silently and your brain's just thinking, you're like, oh no, what's going to happen next? Is it going to do? And then the scene changes and you're just like rolling with it, and then you react just like explosively. Yeah, so it got me, it immersed me, right? So that's doing something well, right? So let's talk about the plot first, right? So it's obviously based on the books, as in the spin-off book, Fire and something. I'm not sure. What do I have up there? Oh, I have the World of Ice and Fire, not the actual Fire and Blood, I think it's called, something like that. And it's just about the 200 years ago ish, House Targaryen civil war, which was turned into the decline of House Targaryen. So it's cool. Like, already the plot, I'm hyped. The books are finished, so there's no bullshit with these directors and these fucking idiots are not involved with it. I should start with just what I'm thinking already, and what I'm thinking is the directors and people involved are not the Russo brothers, the fucking morons. They'd eat their own shit if they could. But nonetheless, the plot, the setting, it's pretty good. I like it so far. It's places we've been, but just different. It's different houses, and it seems like it's building up for a civil war. As an intro episode, it's quite good. There's a nice level of slow intro. You didn't need too much talking. There was a bit of expo dump at the beginning, but that's not too bad. That's like, as long as you're not like setting up the whole movie in there and you have to read it and you have to understand. That's where the problem is, right? But there was a little information, and then we're into the world. That's perfect. Done pretty well. I'm happy with that. Yeah, so the scenes were really interesting. Like, the sets were just fantastic, really. There was nothing that looked too cringe. I did notice a bit of CGI that was a bit, like, the buildings didn't match colours, and it looked like it was CGI'd in the background, which obviously it was. But other than the bit at the beginning, the dragons look great, all stuff like that. So I'm reading off my phone, so let's so yeah, the story, it was, it was, as it progressed through the episode, it was getting more and more intense. Like, at first it was just the characters building up, seeing the setting, it's like, okay, so this person, this is the daughter, and the mother's pregnant, and all stuff like this, and because you know Game of Thrones, right, you're watching it like, fuck me, what are they gonna fuck up? Like, what sick shit is they gonna do, right? So, like, there's even a bit where someone gives someone a gift, right? I don't want to say spoilers and stuff. I hate when people do reviews and it's just like, oh, scene by scene by scene. So, but someone gives a gift and they're related by family, and there's a moment of tension, and I'm like, oh god, please say it's platonic. Please, I know how Targaryens do, yeah. Please say that it's platonic, because brother sister was bad enough, bro. Uncle niece, done out. I can't. Lord Jesus, you can't do me like that. I cannot watch shit like that. Please. So, a little. I'm gonna say tension because I don't know what, but it was. I was sitting there going, "Oh no, it's not. No, not." I was going, "Oh yeah, it was. It's loving. It's family bonding. Yeah, it's platonic. It's platonic." I don't know if that was copium speaking, and I'm just like fucking huffing that copium, but time will tell, I guess. So yeah, but the characters are good. They're interacting really well. We've got quite a nice cast of Targaryens. I like the aspect of where it's more instead of different houses that are focused, it's just one house, like a tight-knit family and stuff like that. Because the best thing about that is it gives it a proper Crusader Kings vibe. Like once you get settled in Crusader Kings, it's a lot of like political matchmaking. This person's got this connection, this person hates that connection, and that really adds to. It's different to Game of. It's the same as Game of Thrones because politics, like it is, but it's the same but different, you know. So that's pretty good. I'm liking the vibe so far, and it was a good intro. It like set up everything it needed to. It built up what it needed to build up. It got us hooked in the centre parts with. It foreshadowed a lot, right? Let's just say when they're talking about the baby and all stuff like that, it's foreshadowing. Interesting things happen, so you knew things were going to happen. You don't know what, and listen, I tell you what, I never seen nothing like that, right? But yeah, they've done that very well. So yeah, it builds up nice, and then it hits a crescendo of like pure fuckery. That's the only way to describe it. Pure fuckery. It is just unadulterated carnage to the point where I actually. Like, I'm not a squeamish person. I don't give a fuck, right? Like, I grew up unsupervised on the internet. I've seen enough stuff, right? It is what it is, and it's just a show. Like, if you do violence for character development, if you do violence for shock, not really shock factor, but like, you know, like it adds weight to stuff. Like, you can do violence in a very, very good way rather than just blood, like a shitty Saw movie or something. So. It started off in the realms of good and was hitting a peak, and then they went straight into wacky thing. Like they should have broken up the violent scenes rather than having them back to back. Like, I get the messaging behind it, right? So it's a little bit of a spoiler, so I don't really want to mention it, but like I can see there was a message for both scenes. It was kind of showing you the thoughts and feelings of what's going to affect the characters in the future, and then like kind of just like the silliness. Like, it's kind of the absurdness of the violence was contrasted with a quote said early on by the mother about a battlefield, let's say. So, like, I get what they're doing. It's like the contrast of the violence, but it was just so much that, yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. But the acting was all good. Like, all the characters are doing very well so far. They're all believable. They all seem great. I don't know the woman's name, but the young girl, she's really good. The brown-haired girl's really good. Matt Smith he's good. Let's talk about Matt Smith, right? So obviously it's Matt Smith, right? So, and he looks like Matt Smith, and he's not the most intimidating guy, and he's not the most. And not who I'd expect the character to be, right? Like, I feel like it feels weird saying it, right? Because I'm like, oh yeah, he's face shaped. I'm not saying he's not attractive enough or something like that, right? Because it's not really that. It's just he gives this kind of like bubbly soft. It's not even bubbly soft. The guy's kind of a sick fuck, right? Like he's got some screws loose somewhere. But but you know, like, I don't know, Matt Smith's face, it doesn't really suit him. Not only see episode 1, bro, and we've already seen Matt Smith fucking doggying a woman, and I couldn't hack it. It was the funniest thing. But at that point, I actually believe him as the character. I cannot picture Matt Smith doggying a woman, so therefore it's not Matt Smith anymore. This is a new person. This is whatever his name is. So yeah, it was interesting. I'll say that. What other characters we've got? We haven't met too much. We met a few dragons. They're okay. They're interesting. Short, nice, sweet interaction with dragons. We've seen 3 different ones so far, maybe 2. But that's interesting. I think they said there's going to be 7 or 10 this season, or out of 17. So yeah, I don't really care. Dragons are cool, just as long as it ain't goofy and it fits the plot nice and well. Like, I don't really give a shit. It's like, it's great. It's a plot feature, you know. It is a character in itself. So if they use it well, they use it well. If they don't, they don't. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, fucking cool dragons, blah. Like, the reason why dragons were so great in the end of Game of Thrones season 1, or was it the end of season 1? Whenever Dany steps into the fire, right? The only reason that was brilliant is we've never seen dragons, and these eggs, like the whole moment of her stepping in fire, like, was brilliant. So that, like, you know, they're characters. You got to use them as characters. So we'll see how they do. Who else? Yeah. So the black guy with silver hair, part of the house that has the no, it's not a unicorn. What is it? A seahorse. A seahorse as their logo. He's cool so far. He's interesting. Ain't done much, so not much to say. But the protector for the girl, for the main character girl, he's cool. I like him. He hasn't said much, but he just gives that vibe of, he feels like the Hound, but less of a cunt. You know, like, yeah, I'm interested to see more of him. But my main opinions, like, character-wise, is the King's a fucking cuck. Like, that dude is the worst leader you've ever seen, right? He's the fucking pushover soft guy. And it's just like, you can't be like that to be a king. Like, if you... Matt Smith has already just done nonsense already, so, like... And he does nothing. Oh, it's my brother. Whatever, dude. Whatever. But yeah, the scenes and cinematography was actually great. So everything there was no jarring scenes. Like, it all was like proper realistic, proper got you immersed into the scenes and stuff like that. So that was really good. The only, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any complaints. It was all good. It was just great. The bits that were outstandingly brilliant was during the hyper violent things, where they cut between someone getting killed, and then the kids' reactions, and the kids' reaction is like brilliant because, yeah, it was on the nose. It's like, oh, this is how it's going to affect them in the future. Like, these are kids who are seeing hyper violence, but it's a good contrast. Like, it's a good thing to show, because this is the first episode we're setting up. We're showing, like, consider this, because episode 2, when there's inevitably going to be a time skip, you're going to know who these characters are, and you're going to see basically the things that affected them in the future. So I think a little bit on the nose, but hey, I think it can work. So we'll see in episode 2 if that works out. What else was there? The music. There was a scene. Oh man, I gotta go and find it, right, to talk about it. But holy shit, there was like, the music just kicks in, and it's just a subtle, you know, like the perfect music. The Game of Thrones music is brilliant, right? So I do my coursework to the audiobooks, right? Not the audiobooks, the OSTs. So brilliant, and it just kicks in at the right moment, and it's just, I don't even know how to describe music, man. It's just such a feeling, and but it's perfect for the scene, and it slowly creeps up as it crescendos in the scene, not the actual music, but the scene is hitting its crescendo as the music is now starting to kick in, and it's just like, oh, you motherfucker, you know how to get the feelings going. God damn. Yeah, boy, it was good. It was good. It was good. So then, yeah, the pacing so far, it's like they've sped past bits. They haven't developed many characters, but we're here. We're in the world. We're living it. We're not babied. Like I'm from the Citadel. I'm a Maester. Maesters, like, we didn't need 10 minutes to someone explaining that, right? Because even if they have not seen the show, like the other seasons, like, why do you need to do that? Like, what are you, an idiot? You can infer, right? Like, I know, I get it. Some people, oh, they didn't explain this properly, but you ain't got a brain now. You can't infer. You can't see and think and go, oh well, this guy in his robes, surrounded by all these big tough guys, the old guy in the robes, who's talking about potions and medicine and stuff. You can't understand that he's the medicine person of the time, the priest or whatever who knows most about medicine and stuff. Like, you can't infer that based off of your own logic. I think you're a bit of an idiot if you can't, you know, like, and at that point, like, why are you even watching TV? Just go watch, like, go watch fucking Cocomelon or something, you know? Like, yeah, like, they didn't explain too much. They gave enough details. They did little things like, the princess who the queen who never was and stuff like that was really good, because yeah, if you don't know the story of the books and you don't know like extra stuff, that's enough. Just that little comment, and it made sense, because in the world no one was like, oh yes, well, she's the princess. Like, it was literally someone said it in a scene that made sense. People around it reacted the way people would in the show. Like, it's not being dumb, right? Because we've all seen shows where the exposition, some main character just comes out with some nonsense, just some straight nonsense, and you're just like, what? I know you're talking directly. At that point, you might as well do a Deadpool and look directly at me, and you might as well just look me in the eye and be like, hey guys, I know you don't know this, but let me tell you something about you know, like, it's just. So they did none of that. It was all done very well. It was all, like, for example, Matt Smith, he's a bit of a nutcase, right? And we don't know what he's done beforehand. But instead of being like, oh, he's useless, he does all of this, they talk about how he's done this role, is this, like, when they're talking to him, they say, you've done this role, he's done this role. He's like, you put me in this role, you did this to me, you helped me with that, you put me there, you will know. Like, they're having an argument, obviously, but it's not expo dumping. It's a point you'd make if you were actually in an argument, where if you're saying you're useless, you'd come back with like, well, you only put me in useless positions, so how am I used? You know what I mean? Like, it is done all within universe. It doesn't. I haven't been taken out once, immersion wise. So I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I'm enjoying it. I'm not saying I'm back on the hype train. I'm not saying I'm the diehard fan, but it is very good. It's nice to just have a show that doesn't treat you like a fucking idiot, like Marvel. It's just childish nonsense. And I know Marvel, like, oh, what'd you expect? But like, Mandalorian is good as well, obviously. But this is Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. Yeah, find me a show which does characters better, other than like Arcane, right? And Arcane is just perfect, so that's a different case. Let's talk about a few scenes in particular, right? So I guess there can be spoiler section, I guess. So there's a lot of council scenes, a lot of just talking, and that's what we need. That's what Game of Thrones is about. It's not action. It's just nice. You're being in the world. They're building it up. They're talking about the scenes. There's politics. You know who they're talking about because they've established characters correctly, and you're seeing how they interact, and it's riveting. Obviously, like it's you don't need action to make everything like the best thing ever. You know, you can have just talking can be brilliant, and so far they've done brilliantly. And then we have the butcher in the market. So the butchering in the market was just madness. Like, yeah, it was just like a violent scene. And Matt Smith, he looks a bit goofy, man. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't give that sort of evil man feel. Like, yeah, he doesn't give that essence of brooding, you know. Like, he doesn't have that his character, obviously it's acting, right? So they're actors, they are playing parts, and you can hire someone based on what they look like, right? Because you need them to portray a certain a certain feel. So he doesn't give that certain feel, but he's growing on me by the end of it. So we'll see how he does further on. But the Butcher it didn't feel like Matt Smith, which obviously is just a character he plays, but and you shouldn't really typecast, but he didn't have that evil guy feel to me personally. But we'll see. But yeah, it was brutal. It was good. It was a bit too brutal, to be honest. It didn't add too much. They could have tone it down a bit less. Then let's talk about the worst thing I've ever seen on TV, genuinely, and that is the medieval C-section. Fuck me. Right, I can watch someone be blown up, right? Like a real person, and that's pretty fucked up, and that's pretty like, ooh. But there's something about operations that feels so wrong, and this was like the medieval cut into her veil, any milk of the poppy because it would kill the baby was just fucking Jesus. I couldn't watch it, man. It was awful, horrible, and just too much for me. And then they contrasted with the battering and the stabbing of the other guy. It was a bit much. But like I said, it did show the kids, like you see the daughter of the hand biting her nails, and the little mixed race girl grabbing the leg of her brother. So it's implying how it's going to affect them in the future. So it should be good, hopefully. Because if it's just for shock factor, childish. But we'll see. The King's reaction, like the King is a good actor. He's doing well. He's doing things like he got really upset after his wife died. That was nice to see. But a bit that was sus, which they didn't expand upon, is like the Hand of the King said to his daughter, like, go keep the King company and put one of your mother's dresses. And I was just like, bro, you've just gone from medieval C-section to emotional scene where the man's shouting about his wife and storms off, to then a scene where you think he's offering up his daughter for like sexual activity, like for manipulation. It was a bit much. But then they just go in and they just read a book, and I don't know if it's trying to show the King is like compassionate and like didn't even consider that, or if she wasn't doing her job, or if the dad didn't actually mean that. Like it was sus, bro. Like I don't know how I feel about that. Like the whole time I was like, do not, please, your best friend's father, who's the King, just lost his wife, and your best friend's mother just died, and you're gonna go and try and bang the dad, even though like maybe she don't have a choice, obviously, like she doesn't want to, but it was just a bit sus. I'm like, please, Game of Thrones, chill, yeah, like. But then nothing came of it, so I'm like, what is he about? Maybe wear one of your mother's dresses. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to show the King's, like, how the King feels, but whatever. And then another scene that was quite weird was so after they have the argument with Matt Smith and he gets banished and all that shit, the daughter and the King are talking about learning the secrets of House Targaryen, which obviously we don't see because by the time we get into the main series they're dead, and any flashbacks are just from children's perspective, really. But they're talking about prophecies, like they're basically saying what Dany's going to do, and they're talking about the Ice King, like they always knew. I'm not saying it's not in the books, I'm not saying it's unrealistic or stuff, but it's a bit, I don't know how I feel about it. It's a bit it feels a bit retroactive, even if it's not. It does feel a bit retroactive, so we'll see. But yeah, it was very strange. If it's just like a little flavour thing in the background that is like, oh, Dany could have known if a Targaryen was on the, yeah, okay, I can vibe with that, but we'll see. And then the last scene where she gets coronated was very cool. That was the last one I want to talk about, because her in her black and gold looked fucking sick. She looked like a Nilfgaard from The Witcher. So that was cool. Yeah, she looks like a Nilfgaard, and she kind of looks like Ciri. So I was like, oh shit, she would make a fucking great Ciri. But anyway, that is a complete tangent. So that is, yeah, that's the first episode, and my opinions on it. I haven't watched any other reviews. I've just commented my opinion, and yeah, let's see where it goes, because I'm enjoying it. It's the immersion that's getting me. Like, I am in the zone. I am like in the world, and that's what I need from shows. Like, I hate being brought out of it. Like, obviously, with Marvel things, you'll be watching it and you'll be serious, and then you'll be like, haha, joke, woohoo, comedy. It sounded like I agree with people I don't, but we're gonna cut that bit out. Yeah. Okay. With that bit thoroughly deleted, I'm going to give it a review. But this, I would give this, I think a 7.5. A 7.5 out of 10. And the reason why I give it a 7.5 and not an 8 is 8 is great, is brilliant. 9 is perfect. 10 is just so unbelievably good that you can't even believe it actually exists. Like, I don't know, Arcane, right? Arcane does characters. That's a 10 out of 10 on characters. Everything else, it hits a 9.5 because it's so near perfect. Like, I can't even believe it's real. That's a different subject, obviously. But yeah, no, this is a 7.5 because 8 is brilliant, 9 is perfect. So 7.5. It was good. It was solid. It was great. It didn't get me in the feels. To be hit, like, it got me in the feels of immersion. I was like, damn man, I love being back in a series, but I wasn't like, hell yeah, Game of Thrones stan. Like, if it hits 8, you know what? Fuck it. We're dropping it to a 7. It's a 7, right? Because if it had me feeling any sort of way, it would be an 8, and it's not. It's not even halfway to get me in my feels. Therefore, it's a 7. Cool. I've decided. 7 out of 10. Let's see where it goes from here.